give you more in terms of pre-match analysis. But for now, we'll let you enjoy the view as the players walk out. We'll have the national anthem of Jamaica.
Or soccer club, I should say. Jamari Gordon in goal, the young man. Giovanni Leng, the experienced man at centre back. Shamar Watson, Akil Henry from Trinidad. Daryl Massicott, Adrian Reed, Christopher Ainsworth, Kimarley Scott, Shad San Milan, Lewis Watson, and Livingston Donaldson. They lead out ahead of Rudolph Speed, the technical director. Waterhouse FC, Roger Williams in goal. Kimani Campbell, their captain, Rashawn Amos. Alexander Bignell at the base of midfield. Leonardo Thomas, Omani Leacock, the Bajan. Neron Barrow from Guyana. Kavis Paul, also from Guyana. Jesus Murillo Godino from Panama. Shamari Dyer and Shamari Dallas leads out their unit. Javier Einstein, the aforementioned man from Argentina, he is their head coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. We're in for quite the ride tonight. It's been a pretty up and down season for Cavallier. They've had plenty of moments where they seem to be down and out. But you know, Leger, I think they relish doing things the hard way. They always seem to make a theater, a spectacle of the game. They had to claw and fight their way into the playoffs. And of course, no better display of that than on the final day of the league season.
Yeah, against Harborview, when they had to come from behind to win that game 2-1 and secure their playoff berth. As we mentioned, 6th position is where they ended up, leading them to face, it was actually 5th position, I beg your pardon. They ended up leading them to face Waterhouse, who finished in 4th position. Cavallier, they love to do it the hard way. As a matter of fact, they have won 4 Jamaica Premier League titles. 3 of their last titles, all coming in this decade, have been won by the penalty shootout, as mentioned previously as well. The first of those 3 coming against Waterhouse in 2021. A couple players who had notable experiences in that final still don the colors of their respective clubs, including Giovanni Leng, who missed in that final. Kimani Campbell, the captain for Waterhouse also missed in that final. So both captains with demons to avenge. But it was Cavallier victorious on that day. How will this day play out? The first leg of the Ray and Neville Jamaica Premier League quarter-final clash is underway.
And so it begins, a night to remember for many. But I'm sure a team that has built a culture of winning will not take this lightly. Of course, coming into this, there will be some who perhaps view Waterhouse as favourites as they lose the ball here, given that Waterhouse have gotten the better of Cavallier for much of the season, won 2 of their 3 encounters, including their last game, the last time they met. No foul there on Leonardo Thomas, says the referee. That's played over the right hand side and unable to get around his man there. That will go out for a goal kick.
And I think this prompts now the first bit of intrigue for me, how Waterhouse will aim to build up. We've seen them have issues at times under Javier Einstein. Cavallier not applying significant amounts of pressure, so it was comfortable on that occasion. But I will be looking out to see if that's going to become a constant thread throughout this game as Shamar Watson wins this one in midfield.
One back there by Dyer. Plays it now into the path of Dallas. Looks across and tried to find his man, unable to, and Cavallier regained position, but only momentarily. That's played back to Roger Williams in goal.
Yeah, I'm sure Cavallier will be looking to imprint their signature style on this game. They love to play on the transition, do Cavallier, especially with those speedsters up top. You see Christopher Ainsworth, Daryl Massicott, so too Kimarley Scott, the young exuberant player, recently won the local Manning Cup in Jamaica with Excelsior, leading from the front. He'll be looking to make a similar impact, I'm sure, for Cavallier, but
they're through here and they've scored! Oh! It's only taken 2 minutes, but Waterhouse draw first blood. They're on Barrow, the goal scorer on this occasion. Waterhouse take the lead here through some wonderful build-up play.
yeah, and how uncharacteristic is it? Cavallier carved open, seemingly out of nowhere. It's a talisman once more, Amani Leacock, finding Leonardo Thomas, who had the presence of mind to find Darren Barrow. And in acres of space, he was never going to make a mistake, nor did he. Waterhouse finding an early goal in this quarter-final clash. And you said they love to do it the hard way, John. Cavallier. That war of attrition in their mind begins early in this game.
They only conceded 1 goal in their last 3 games coming into this match. Seems as though their questionable defense had improved over the course of the season as it wore on. But they've been undone here rather early as well. Now the defending champions have an uphill battle. It's going to be quite the task now. Of course, only 1 goal in it, but ooh, at Waterhouse, they've begun as they left off 4-0 win last week against Dumbo Holding, where they pretty much dismantled them. They're in great form. And I tell you what, Javier Einstein spoke a couple of weeks ago to us about resting players and wanting them to be fit and ready mentally for the playoffs. Seems that gamble has paid off thus far.
Yeah, especially with the 2 players, or 3 players who would have combined for that goal. Amani Leacock has gotten through a lot of hard yards throughout this season. He's the one who started the playoff. We haven't seen much of Leonardo Thomas, I would say, over the last 3 game weeks or so. And Darren Barrow, he's been making cameos off the bench. But there was always a feeling that he would be pivotal for Waterhouse in these playoffs. And he's shown his worth early in this contest. Waterhouse, I'm sure, will be looking to impose themselves on this fixture now.
Most definitely. And Aaron Barrow, so far in this season, hasn't scored a lot, but when he does score, they tend to be rather important goals. And Cavallier, of course, they do have players who know how to rise to the occasion as well. They have Jerome clearly on the bench, who scored a couple of goals in the playoffs last year in both the semi-final and quarter-final. Of course, he's on the bench today, but they do have some players with big game credentials. Now here's Captain Leng looking downfield, trying to find Massicot, and he does. Turns back. Oh, the pass just a bit behind his teammate there, and Bicknell can move forward now with Godinho. Passing it to Dallas, to Alexander Bicknell. Lovely switch of the play there. Find his man, Kimani Campbell, who's made a habit, rather, of late to score some really impressive goals from a technical standpoint. See what he has up his sleeve today, the skipper. Ball played back to Williams in goal. Played downfield, trying to look for Denardo Thomas, who got the assist. Oh, he's won possession. Oh, and inexplicably, the champions have surrendered a 2-goal lead. Denardo Thomas turned provider in the first goal, and now he scored one himself.
Wow. It seemed as if it was an aimless pass over the top of that Cavallier defense, which would be defended. But Jamari Gordon, the young custodian for Cavallier, found himself in no man's land. Akil Henry shielding it for his goalkeeper. But who was most alive in the situation? It was that man, Denardo Thomas. And after providing an assist, he provides a goal that has Waterhouse and their supporters dancing for joy. We saw a quick start in the first quarterfinal. This one is more than quick. It's Waterhouse 2, Cavallier 0. Barely 7 minutes on the clock.
Cavallier 0, Waterhouse 2, Denardo Thomas with the Waterhouse second goal coming in the 7th minute.
Dumbfounded. The Cavallier players on the pitch would not have expected this. Of course, as I mentioned before, they've had some defensive woes over the course of the season, but they seem to have improved that. But even if you look at the underlying numbers, we were researching before the game, it did suggest that they were perhaps overperforming on that side of the ball based on the quality of the chances that have been created against them. And seems, who knows, maybe perhaps regressing to the mean here, but wonderful finishing on display from Waterhouse. But has to be said, the defending champions not looking as stingy at the back as they usually are. The communication between goalkeeper and defender on that last goal, not what it needed to be. Jamari Gordon, the young custodian, will have some answers, he'll have some questions to be asked of his defense.
Yeah, I think he was just stuck on his line as he approached, was caught in maybe two minds there, Jamari Gordon. I believe only 16 years of age, Gordon. Cavallier have always been a team that believes in youth, promotes youth. As a matter of fact, the youngest team in the Jamaica Premier League at an average age of 20 years. The youth and inexperience probably showing at this moment. And Waterhouse, they have taken full advantage. Roger Williams confident in claiming that one.
Mentioned the youth, they have plenty of players who, as I mentioned before, have bought into the winning culture but have brought it over from schoolboy football, of course, not least Kimari Scott, who played rather well in their last game. Provided an assist for Ainsworth. He won the Manning Cup with Excelsior. It was brilliant over the course of the season. They'll be looking to him for some sort of attacking impetus. Dyer's pass is cut out there, headed on by Denardo Thomas, trying to feed Barrow, goal scorer of the first goal. But they placed their trust, their confidence in the youth, and they're gonna have to ask them to bail them out. Cavallier used to, as we said before, doing it the hard way, but it is quite the task. 2-0 down in only 10 minutes gone. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, coming into this game, similar to the first quarterfinal that we saw between Racing and Portmore, I didn't expect an outpouring of goals. My expectations have already been usurped in the first game, and it seems as if it will be a similar thing in this second quarterfinal. Naran Barrow giving some earnest chase to this one, and he is onside. Tries to find a pass.
Plays it down the channel now for Dallas. Oh, plays a lovely pass now into the path of Leacock, who gets his shot away in time. Saved by Gordon, but also seems there was a foul given prior to.
Yeah, I believe it was on Kimarli Scott, who was marching back trying to help Cavallier in a defensive sense.
Oh, Bicknell's won the ball high up the pitch here. He's racing down that left-hand side looking for support, and still has it, but seems he eventually did lose it to Morrison. Cross coming in. Denardo Thomas to chase. He's already got a goal and an assist in this match. Unable, however, to keep that in play.
How will Cavallier regroup? I know we said that they love to do things the hard way. I know we said that they love the attrition whenever they achieve anything, but already such a tall order, not only because this is a quarter-final, not only because it's a 2-0 lead or 2-0 deficit that they're facing early in this game, but it's also because of Waterhouse's defensive record, especially since Javier Einstein took charge. Bicknell with a lot of space in the middle of the park. Gioleng caught out of position, but Jamari Gordon doing excellently well. But that defensive record for Waterhouse, since Javier Einstein was officially appointed, he was, I would say, in charge a bit before that official statement on January 7th. It's been 24 games. They've won 15, drawn 4, 5 losses, 13 clean sheets from those 24 games, only conceding 16. They have been a formidable defensive team, and it has led them to 49 of a possible 65 points. But even before Javier Einstein, keeping clean sheets and defensively wasn't necessarily a big issue for them. It was more so scoring goals. Under the tutelage of Marcel Fuzzy-Gale, it was 15 games they had played, as Denardo Thomas clutching his right hamstring. Under Marcel Fuzzy-Gale, 15 games were played. Only won 4. As we see a replay of his goal here, Denardo Thomas, a staple in this Waterhouse team. And you need those types of players, those staples, to provide in big moments. And he already provided at this point. This time, he was clinical all on his own. But yeah, under the tutelage of Marcel Fuzzy-Gale, who has been in charge, or was in charge at Waterhouse for quite some time. Started this season 15 games, only 4 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses. They had a relatively decent defensive record, conceding 16, which isn't awful. 7 clean sheets though in those 15 games, which is essentially half of their games, but only 15 goals scored from those 15 games. I think that was the biggest issue for Waterhouse. I'm not saying they've turned into goal-scoring juggernauts. They haven't. But they've found ways to win games. We saw a lot of 1-0 victories, since Javier Einstein took charge. And then towards the end of the season, we started to really see their goal-scoring exploits become greater and greater. And it has really come at the perfect time.
When you speak about goal scoring, the top goal scorer this season, Colorado Murray, ended the season with 13. And to do it without him tonight, it takes some doing, it takes some bustle. As he did suffer a horrific injury a couple of weeks against Chapelton Maroons, to see them playing to this level, it does show you what kind of, not just depth, but the spirit that they have.
Yeah, Colorado Murray suffering from a concussion following that terrible collision he's had with Donhue Mitchell. The last time we would have seen Waterhouse in a broadcasted game against Chapelton Maroons match week 38. I think he will be possibly until next week Sunday at minimum before we see him in a Waterhouse squad once more. But not to be concerned too much, Waterhouse, they do have several fantastic strikers in their ranks. Not only Naran Barrow, who has found the back of the net already in this game, but so too on the bench Javane Bryan, who would have won the Jamaica Premier League's Golden Boot only a couple of seasons ago with 18 goals. So he's always a big option for them.
Expecting to find Massacre, to find a
We did mention in that Chapelton game that we did, it was, as I said, match week 38. Waterhouse, under Javier Einstein, they switched to a 3 at the back system. It was much more of a 3-4-3 system with 2 attacking players floating behind a central striker. But ever since that day, we've seen a little bit of an adjustment from them. And I just had a feeling they were trialing something for the playoffs. And my feeling has, I would say, come true. They've gone much more to a 3-5-2 system. Maybe you can call it a 3-5-1-1. Denardo Thomas floating behind a central striker today in Naran Barrow. And 3 central midfielders in Big Nailers, in Jesus Maria Godino Maria, I beg your pardon, as well as Omani Leacock. So much more security from a midfield standpoint. They do say defense wins championships, and Waterhouse are certainly battening down the hatches, I would say, in these playoffs. But they're scoring goals as well. And they have 2 early ones here against Cavallier. Kimaris got fouled down the left-hand side.
Lovely turn there. It was fouled. And the free kick taken quickly. Now with Henry on the ball. Bringing it to Watson. Milan. To find Scott here. That's put out of play. Ball throw into Waterhouse. I suppose that does raise the point of experience versus youth, because, of course, as I mentioned before, we've seen a number of the younger players step up for Cavallier this year. So far in the playoffs, where the atmosphere, the environment is so different, it's been some of the players that have been staples of this Waterhouse team that have actually stepped up tonight. And as we see another one of them on the chase, trying to get around Gordon there to see the ball and able to, but it does raise an interesting point, because we've seen the departure of Jamar Calvin, who scored 20 plus goals last season. Saw the departure of Dwayne Busy Atkinson, of course Richard King, who's their captain, and Rock at the back. It does raise an interesting point of whether or not they perhaps should have sought to retain just a bit more of those senior players. Of course, they had to get moves overseas.
And I think a very important player that they're missing as well, which I'll touch on after this corner, has menacingly swung in and eventually claimed by Roger Williams, the Waterhouse goalkeeper. I think 2 players that they're significantly missing would be Vina Bartlett, the St. Lucia international, goalkeeper. That's a huge miss for them, I think. As well as J.D. White, who was transferred over to Arnett Gardens. Well claimed there by Budino. Tried to play in Jamari Dallas and eventually took a shot, but right to Jamari Gordon, who's 16 years of age. You have to think that his lack of experience will be a big factor, already has been a big factor in this playoff run. As opposed to goalkeepers who have won titles for Cavallier. Not only the Jamaica Premier League at that, but also the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup and competed in the CONCACAF Champions League. So significant players have been lost by Cavallier. Their ethos has always been promoting youth, such as Adrian Reed Jr., who's standing over this free kick, who has played in the last 3 Jamaica Premier League finals. But at what end in some aspects? They did say it was a rebuilding year, their technical director, Rudolph Spiel, and their coaching staff. But many people, especially since they got into these playoffs, would have thought that Cavallier would have carried a significant threat, and they still certainly have over 160 minutes to carry that threat. They could start with this free kick.
Oh, a decent one! And it's been safe, pushed onto the post by Roger Williams. Eventually cleared. Oh, lovely effort from the young midfielder, who has quite a goal-scoring touch to him. Scored at least 6 goals so far this season. Looking to get his 7th there.
Yeah, fantastic effort there by Adrian Reed Jr. And he'll take this into the corner as well.
Pushed away. Follow up, they're unable to make clean contact, and eventually gets the shot away. Took a deflection, but it seems it was off his own teammate. And as Roger Williams goes down, that will certainly be a goal kick for Cavallier.
I suspect it will be a tactical timeout as well for both teams. We've seen already in these quarterfinals, these young quarterfinals, the first legs, that getting a goal back at any significant moment in the game could be a real momentum shift. Portmore United leading Racing United by 3 goals to 0, and that first goal by Tajay Grant in that game led to just an attacking onslaught by Racing, and that first leg tie finished by 3 goals apiece. So Cavallier will know that this tie isn't over. There's still, I would assume, with extra time at the end of each half, around 175 minutes left to be played in this tie. Still so much time. Waterhouse, I'm sure, will be trying to control the festivities. They're in control of the tie right now. It's all up to them to maintain their control over this game. Be much more patient in possession, try and score when the opportunity arises, but be smart about it as well. And understand that they're the team in the dominant position.
I have no doubts that of teams in this playoffs that would find themselves with their backs against the wall, Cavallier are the team that you'd least likely want to count out. They're used to being in situations like this. They know what it takes to overcome adversity. And so even 2 goals down, as early as it is, they don't want to be counted out, but now they have a shot. They're going to have to defend here. Coutinho surging forward. He's still going through. Oh, he's seemingly. The referee waves that play off. I thought that was going to be a penalty for sure.
I think he might have overrun it in the end and just took a tumble. You saw the referee claiming a dive, and it certainly was one. But my question at that point, why isn't it a yellow card heading the way of Jesus Gudino Murillo? And I'm quite surprised, especially seeing that the referee acknowledged that it was a dive, that there wasn't a yellow card brandished. But a huge opening once more. Once again, the Cavalier defense looking exposed right through the center. That's where the first goal came from. That's where the second one came from. And a run in behind once more. The undoing of a defense that we know to be so good, especially in these high pressure situations. He was almost exposed at the expense of a goal once more on that occasion.
It's a great run by Godinho, who, of course, we don't know it to be necessarily an attacking threat, but we've seen even in the course of the last game that, well, the last two games where he's been venturing forward a bit more. Perhaps a tactical decision by mastermind at the helm. And I have to say, things are getting a bit spooky for the defending champions. As mentioned before, defensive record as of late has improved, but overall, over the course of the season, not necessarily what we've come to expect. That they have plenty of time to right these wrongs. Still have a half and more to play. A duel there won by Paul. Now Leacock on the ball. And he wins the fall there. Godinho trying to get past Junior, unable to, and goes to ground, wins a free kick. Just going back to the penalty there, did seem at first glance, first look at as though contact was made, but you were right, Leger. Upon looking at the replay, most definitely there wasn't a touch, and he did bring up an interesting point. Why wasn't perhaps the card brandished to Godinho, but nevertheless, a pivotal moment in this game. 2-0 doable, 3-0. Of course, the last game notwithstanding, usually tends to be a death sentence for most teams. Now it's about what they can muster going forward for the defending champions, but as you can see there from perhaps their most ardent supporter at the game every week, they are in no sort of rush or nervousness, because they know that they're in complete control as of now. So Sean Ames, who, speaking of never being rushed, has been phenomenal right throughout the season. He can see position, be a throw into Cavallier. To be taken now by Ling, who's advised just to go back a bit further, and seems he's left it, I believe, for Reed to take. Headed on. Thomas coming out second best in that area, though. Waterhouse have the ball once more. Paul looking on that right hand side for Barrow, who's unable to keep it in play, and in the end, great defending coming in from Cavallier there. Lewis Watson. Headed now into path of Watson once more. Lovely pass, but lovely attempt. He's been shoved off it here. Some pretty physical play from Christopher Ainsworth, who's had a bit of a position change so far this season. Typically deployed as a left back, but so far this season he's been playing on the left or the right of the attack, and he's produced whenever called upon. Top goal scorer for Cavallier so far this season with 10. Such an amazing creative threat, and We speak of players who have experience winning titles. He's already won 3 of them for Cavallier despite only being 20 years old. Phenomenal player. There's the ball there to Massacre. Cross into the box. Searching for Bobby and White. Unable to find any. That goes off for a goal kick. Score from a set piece last week, of course, courtesy of that header from Agent Reed, which kick-started the comeback. Could they repeat the trick here tonight? Set piece taken. That's cleared at the near post there by the goal scorer, the first goal. Non-apparent for those just joining, perhaps unaware. Yes, it was 2-0 fast goals from Andy Thomas. Crossed in there, but way beyond any of these shirts. Painted with white, and that will go out for a goal kick. George Williams will take. It's been quite the show that's been put on for us today. 3-3 draw we were treated to right before this game between Racing United and Portmore, the first game of the playoffs in the quarterfinal stage. And oh, what a game it was. Had some amazing goals, had thrills, had spills, and even a comeback. And the team that seemed down and out, and Cavallier, of course, can take inspiration from that. As of now, largely been second best here today. Amos putting that into Leacock. Trying to play over the far right hand side, unable to, but gets it back now from Alexander Bignell. Leacock gone to the fall there as he tried to borrow his way, unable to roll it back here by Nana Thomas. And the most creative players in the league, so gifted as a playmaker. Start position, continue. It's a fall, and Williams should get it. Leacock putting it over to Thomas, twisting and turning, trying to bite some time before finding a teammate under pressure here, and eventually serves his position, but he doesn't fall.
Dyer Looking once more for a pass over the top. Williams, assertive as usual. Waterhouse trying to settle in possession now. It has been quite simple for them to do so. They really have had the flow of things in this game. Shamar Watson and Cavallier in a foul there.
Williams playing with fire there, so often does at times, but what a way on that occasion. Dino from Spinell, and I have to say, Cavallier are a team that thrives on chaos. And they can create some now, and they do! They've thrown this game wide open. The floodgates are open now for the defending champions. They've gotten a goal back. And that's some fine finish. Lovely effort there. Seen really out of nothing, the defending champions are back in this game.
Yeah, it really doesn't take much. You did say that Waterhouse were playing around with fire, not quite moving the ball with any sort of intent. And I think the challenge from playing this ball all the way with Massive. And he's smartly found this one, fired it into the back of the net. And Waterhouse, having been in control for majority of this tie so far, 9 minutes out from half-time, Cavallier, the defending champions, have found a way back into it as they so often do.
What about the young Morris Scott here? Williams has been patient to get his head up and just pick out his man there. Wonderful finish. But Kimari Scott definitely worthy of some applause. Got an assist last week and he's gotten another one here. On both occasions, Cavallier really needed it. I mentioned before that he's already coming from a culture of winning that he did with the Manicolt on the big stage, the national stadium here. For Cavallier, of all teams, he's made an impact. And now this game is it's anybody's guess to go home with the lead. After the first leg, as it's now 2-1 to Waterhouse, who was, I was trying to say before the goal scored, a team that favors control over chaos as opposed to Cavallier. And I think that bodes well for them over the course of 2 legs. As Cavallier tend to love when teams come at them, all guns blazing. But that's not in Waterhouse's identity, especially not under Coach Javier Einstein. But nevertheless, it's going to be a stern test now. For Waterhouse, they did boast the second best defensive record in the league, only behind Mount Pleasant in that regard. They will be tested here against a Cavallier attack that has been much improved over the course of the season. Thomas unable to on that occasion. Education has position and small, of course. He's junior, son of a former league player. Got a lot of for the national team. He's experienced. Cavallier, massive cut.
He thought he was offended on that occasion. Once again, Waterhouse not dealing with that danger well enough. And once you give sharks like Cavallier, even an inkling of their blood in water, they will strike. And they have already once more in this game. And there's certainly little to do so again to level things up. Significant amount of time left in this tie.
Here. Just showing just 14 minutes going into this one. We have 3 goals just as we had. More. There's 2 rather, but nevertheless, this team has boosted it all. It's been fantastic thus far, and if you want to continue observing all the action, you can do so on the Jamaican Premier League YouTube channel. All those who may be wondering, Rangers just was in position to Dino now, and does have a fall there. Christopher Ainsworth, there's another left-hand side trying to create some danger on to that's clear downfield towards another Thomas who himself wanted to the fall. That came off of him and go out for a throw-in. Ainsworth cross goes beyond Scott, and that's clear downfield. Ling. And the ball wide now for Lewis Watson. Pass and see for Scott. Laid off for Milan. Too much curve on that pass there. That time. From Jamal Watson, that will go for a throw-in.
Yeah, I'm sure you want that one back. It was a very good passage of play from Cavallier. Finally found some space in the midfield area as he tried to spread the play, unable to do so. I assume Waterhouse would be the team that wants half-time much more of the two. Started the game well, got 2 goals, but momentum has certainly shifted in favor of Cavallier, I would say, over the last few minutes.
Thomas's fault there.
Christopher Ainsworth, and Cavallier player going into the book.
Set piece here for Waterhouse, and it seems Shamar Dyer will go along with it. He'll put this into the fray. That will be caught by Jamari Gordon in goal. Played into Scott, turns out of danger, and unfortunately for his team, it was offside. He was to collect that pass there.
Roger Williams taking his time once more. Waterhouse haven't quite seemed comfortable in possession, I would say, since around the 25th minute or so. They certainly haven't since the goal. Cavallier just applying just a touch more pressure. which has led to the discomfort as we approach 4 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half.
As that's headed out of play, really does seem to be shaping up to be an exciting contest. And I guess the question is, will we see another goal before the end of the half? And with the way it's been going thus far today, which does seem to be raining goals. Across there to just, well, Dallas rather went across to just put it the throw in, and cross came in, but not a great one, and that's cleared by Cavallier. And despite his hard running, trying to chase that, Cavallier's goal scorer Dal Mascot is and will be in vain, as that will be a throw in for Waterhouse. Field, Thomas traps it, wins a throw in here, Of course, the return leg for both of the quarterfinals will be played on Wednesday. And most certainly will be an exciting climax into this round, which has already produced some fireworks. Alder Robinson got Portmore United off to a blazing start after a quick fire double. It seemed for all the world as though Portmore were going to just soar into a commanding lead in the first leg of their quarterfinal against Racing United, only for them to be undone by some pretty poor defending in the end. G. Grant and Kyle Ellis showing just why they're two of the most favored attackers in this league, getting their names on the score sheet. They'll be Racing United to claw their way back into this tie and set up what should be an exciting second leg come Wednesday night. But Waterhouse on the attack themselves, and they want a penalty. Referee looks the other way.
And I'm quite surprised that he did as well. It seemed as if there was a tug long enough to warrant a foul being called. The attack is not over as yet. But Cavallier might have gotten away with one there. Let's now see on the replay. It was a loose touch by Gio Leng, who has had a poor game, and I'm surprised that one hasn't been called. I really am surprised that one hasn't been called.
There is contact there from Agent Reed Jr. there, but perhaps the referee just, in his estimation, just didn't deem it to be enough for him to go to the ground. Dallas played it to the Dean, couldn't quite trap it, just too much on the pass. Leacock, lovely turn away from Livingston Morrison. Gets the return pass there as well from Kimani Campbell. Tried to get across him, but cleared by Giovanni Leng. Waterhouse will just be happy to take the lead into the break, because, as you mentioned before, just a few moments ago, they have been second best in large parts of the latter half of the second half. But as we come to the break now, score reads the defending champions Cavallier 1, Waterhouse 2.
It has been an intriguing first half between the defending champions Cavallier and Waterhouse. Waterhouse took an early lead. Two very well taken goals. And here are those goals. Leacock driving through the center of that Cavallier defense. Leonardo Thomas intelligently finding Naran Barrow in acres of vacated space. And an intelligent finish gave Waterhouse the lead early. Another defensive mix-up, this one much more blatant, led to Leonardo Thomas sneaking in past Akil Henry, past Jamari Gordon, and finding the second goal in this game. Cavallier then would try and claw their way back into it. It was a good attempt by Adrian Reed Jr. Roger Williams with an excellent save. It almost was 3. And this one seemed as if it was going to be called a penalty. It wasn't. But Waterhouse eventually wilted. Scott finding Massicott. And the lead halved. Cavallier no less than they deserve as well. They've really found a way back into this game. And Massicott finding Scott. And that's a very valid appeal at a foul. So to this one, as Adrian Reed Jr. had his hands all over Kimani Campbell. Both penalties or appeals for a penalty not called. And at the end of the first half, the scoreline reads Cavallier 1, Waterhouse 2.
Rio 1 points this round to gain breathing room and keep progressing. Algerona Allied aim to regain momentum and compete bravely in an awkward and intense clash in Vallecas.
Back through for David Bashiru. This is the chance, and there's the opening goal. In by Suchi, Shalanolo!
This is Montreal. We stand ready for a wide open battle at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. The Grand Prix is underway. Antonelli rolls on by. Flat off the wall, cars everywhere. It is a wonderful atmosphere. He's pretty unforgiving if he makes a mistake. No, the McLarens collide!
Sorry.
George Russell wins.
What a day for Mercedes. Cavallier would have obviously not started the game well, but they grew into it as the game wore on, Jay.
Yeah, they certainly did, and I think Waterhouse and their coaching staff have recognized that Cavallier are growing into the game, and they've responded with changes. Mario Sims has made his entrance for Alexander Bignell, and Javane Bryan, the aforementioned striker, has made his way on for Naran Barrow. That should signal a system change as well. We did mention that Waterhouse were playing in that flat 3-5-2. I think we'll see more now of
to Amos. To Roger Williams in goal. Intercepted there on occasion.
Yeah, I think having a base, even though it might sound counterintuitive, I think having a base of those two midfielders as opposed to three can possibly give Waterhouse a greater advantage in terms of exerting control. Not because they'll have more bodies in the midfield area, but because they would have an extra body in the attacking area. So when they do build up effectively against this Cavallier team, they'll be able to sustain their attacks in that final third area.
As mentioned, AJ, they did struggle at times. Number of passes did go into, especially that right-hand side to Naren Barrow for him to chase. And once he did get the ball, very rarely had options to get it off to. But now with the addition of Javine Ryan, who's say more athletic, they do have a bit more support, along with Marius, who's been in the goals so far this season. We'll be looking to provide some sort of goal threat from the midfield. Notice that's all white to Bernard Thomas, trying to get his second assist of the game. Cross coming in. Oh, he's left for Sims there. And he plays it for Kimani Kiambo. Strike. But it's blocked. Waterhouse already putting some pressure on Cavallier. That's his new changes.
They're starting the second half in a much similar vein to how we started it first. Cavallier alleviating some pressure through Mascot. And winning the foul.
Quick here. Ainsworth. Ooh, lovely pass to find Nagi. He defended
Easy call here for the referee.
See here. Most definitely a foul. Has his hands around his waist. No complaints about that one on the occasion.
Maybe surprised that the card was brandished. It's small now. As well as to build up on Smalley. On the pass to Javine Ryan, but he's unable to shut that one in his grasp.
As he always does. Sean Ames coming on top and there. Now it's Mario Sims looking to build an attack for Waterhouse himself. Finds Brian also. Love pass from Sims to find Brian Edward wide and the cross. Well, too close for the goalkeeper Gordon there. That will be easily dealt with.
Delivered that pass, maybe an awkward landing as he tried to whip that one in. Not a player that Waterhouse wanted, not only for his quality and what he provides down that left-hand side, but also for his leadership. Has been a member of this Waterhouse unit for quite some time. Only a brief intermission when he moved over, as many quality players do to Mount Pleasant a few seasons ago, but has returned. Did mention that he was a part of the team the last time Waterhouse made the Jamaica Premier League final in 2021 against Cavallier nonetheless. Missed his penalty in that penalty shootout. Penalty shootout which Waterhouse went on to lose by 5 goals to 4 following a 1-1 normal time and extra time stalemate. That was the season where football returned in all its splendor. In Jamaica, following the COVID pandemic. It was the last time that Waterhouse advanced to the Jamaica Premier League final. They have been in the semi-final since 2022. After they were defeated in the third place game, Johnny will never guess who they lost to in that third place game. Cavallier by 4 goals to 1.
Cross into the box. Dangerous one.
They also did advance to the semi-final a couple of seasons ago, 2023-2024. Once again in the third place game. After being knocked out in the semi-final, they were beaten handily by Iron Lions 5 goals to 1. So they have had more success in these playoffs, I would say, since the turn of this decade. We put things right. Started with the quarter-final against Cavallier. But this game still finding the boys' souls inside. For all the prestige that a club like Waterhouse holds, only 2 league titles to their name. A club that has been held in high regard ever since they were founded all the way back in 1968. Initially went by the name of Harlem Kickers. The Waterhouse changed over to the Great West Football Club in 1972 and then settled on the name Waterhouse in 1979. Bounced around in the lower divisions before coming to notoriety in the 1990s, eventually winning their first title in 1998, a 2-1 aggregate victory against Eba United, now Montego United. Then also won the title in 2006. At that time, JBL was only strictly a League One playoffs. I must say, I do quite love this playoff format. It adds just an extra layer of spice to things in this league. And the spice is what we're seeing currently. Throughout draw that we mentioned several times, and I'm sorry for mentioning it several times during a Cavallier Waterhouse game, but such was the quality of the game between Racing United and Port United, their quarter-final first leg. Second leg, of course, taking place this coming Wednesday. So to the second leg of this tie as well. Both teams, of course, would want to be in an advantageous position going into that second leg. Waterhouse currently in that advantageous scenario. But they could keep that ball in down the right-hand side. And they will be a throw-in to Firehouse.
First game, specific fact that most of those games between the regular season were low scoring. Today, amongst the trends that to avoid is Cavallier are one of the best second half teams in the league. Of course, and at home tend to always be able to make adjustments and modify based on what the game needs, especially in these high-stake moments. We're going to picture what we're seeing here. Thomas. Oh, decent one. Can make contact on his DD. Trying to pick it past the young. Cavallier does win a throw-in here.
Yeah, one great thing about Kimari Scott is the amount of effort he puts in defensively. Not only a striker that stays strong in front of goal, He really puts in the hard yards wherever he's playing. I can recall during pivotal times in his under-19 career for Excelsior, the school which he won the Man Cup title with Urban Area Schoolboy Football under-19 title. He was put at right back to see out games. And you can see that effort and hard work all across his game. You can see the effort and hard work in this game as well as Shamar Daya wins a foul. Christopher Ainsworth guilty party.
Williams. Two bodies. Yes, just put it on play. Just on. Take it into control. Ling. Puts it on field. Maybe it's took there's leak up. Mario Sim came off the bench at half time, puts that into team now. What he can do with it.
Not necessarily the most skillful and nimble attacker is Javane Bryan. He did well to earn his team a corner kick there.
Crowd here. They've been going and going all night, supporting their teams. And they'll be hoping they can get one more thing to shout about as the cross comes in here. Denied. Mercy let's start run Daya. Plays his pass wide, trying to find his team. They just don't get rid of him. They're not wasting any time really in possession, trying to get it up into their forward players as quick as possible. Really a staple of their game. Reed. Zach throwing towards Scott, heads it on. It's more like a Dean to take on any Campbell. Trying to put into the path of Javane. And they will be clean now. Position the ball by Cavallier. Campbell. Play. Pass on. Touch to Levy. Sims. Goal kick. Cavallier. Waterhouse. Starting this half. As I mentioned before, as they become the first position of the full long now. Nice fluid in position. As they have it. Control. Unless they are in the lead, and that is what matters most. Now it's Cavallier trying to do something about that. Oh, they're in danger there. Narrowly avoid giving up another goal.
Yeah, they do seem a little bit lackadaisical when defending at times. Do Waterhouse. These half chances that should be dealt with easily. And that one. Cannons off the ball, courtesy of Javane Bryan. Nothing lackadaisical about that shot. We were out of play for quite some time. And it was another pass over the top that Giovanni Leng did not take full certainty of Javane Bryan almost giving Waterhouse another 2-goal lead in this game.
The bar there. But he did well, I have to say, he did well to really get something out of that. What seemed to be a half chance, because from that angle, you wouldn't have bet on him taking a shot there, but unleashed a ferocious strike. And could so easily have found the top corner of the net to restore that 2-goal lead as you mentioned, Jay. But so now they're content with having just a 1-goal lead. Cavallier cut into the deficit and they're looking to level the score with that free kick, but no free kicks of that quality they're laying. Now Massacre playing it wide for Cavallier. Scott has already provided an assist this game. See what he can do. Once more in the final third, Ainsworth has the ball at his feet. Plays it to Cavallier Scott, but return pass just couldn't keep it in play. Mario Sims come forward for Waterhouse, and he's fouled. Once more by man.
And I think for maybe the fifth time in this game, I can say a pretty obvious one. Waterhouse looking to build once more. Sims getting more and more involved in the proceedings. Technical director of this Cavallier team without speed. Still the interim head coach of the Jamaica senior men's national team as well. Will be the one in charge as they take on the Unity Cup this summer. I'm sure all his focus will be on this Cavallier team now. And that will be a foul against Shamar Dallas.
The ball pitch here. They've actually found Cavallier. Scott is through here, takes on the shot, and he scored! Cavallier! Wow! We say they always do it the hard way, but why not when you know you're always going to come out on top? They're back in this game and back in this tie. It's 2-2.
And 2 goals out of absolutely nothing. We had Bernardo Thomas getting an assist and a goal. Cavallier Scott now joining that party as well. Aimless pass over the top. Amos trying to use his physicality, trying to bump Cavallier Scott out of the way. But the little man with a little center of gravity comes out on top, uses his body excellently, and uses his right boot even better as he slotted that one home. And just as in the first game of these quarterfinals, the team has come back from a lead deficit that we might have thought was insurmountable. Cavallier 2, Waterhouse 2.
Visible frustration from goalkeeper Jay Williams. Bit disappointed in his defense there. Cross coming in, headed away from danger. I have to say, you can't really blame him, Jay Williams. Man on the ball, Shane must have been so fantastic because of the season, but he'll be looked at as to why he couldn't deal with Cavallier Scott there, especially when he mentioned before he was physically at an advantage in the duel. But such as the heart of the little man came on top there, so composed of the goal, showing that all the young school team. Oh! Shot Sims! And he scored once more! Here, Seals goal to Japan was a positive explosion tonight.
We have fouled, I believe, Dallas at the back post as he was about to get that one in. Waterhouse almost with an immediate response. Was flying in these playoffs. Almost got another one there.
He uses a
change immediately for Waterhouse.
Have a say in the should they need him, should they summon him, rather, he's just very well capable of taking matters into his own hands. His ability with his IQ, over the awareness on pitch, over the ability to follow his feet. Now just 20 minutes left, scoring is up to 2-all.
Waterhouse, I'm sure, will be desperate to try and find some momentum in this game once more. Apart from a few spells to start this second half, they really have been second best. I would say since around the 25th minute or so. They did seem to hit a switch as soon as that second Cavallier went in. They made that switch to stay engaged. But Chamara walks out that fire, and here comes Cavallier once more.
Racing down the right side, Amos doing the job. On that occasion, gaining possession for Waterhouse. Leading up presented Rio Coutinho. On to Bembo. Position. Trying to play the ball across the faces of the box. Able to find it teammate. Those situations are any of those supplying a chance.
But it was a good run. No one invaded the space that he would have left. Like Amos is doing here.
Thomas, who cuts back and tries to get some space to take the shot to score on the occasion.
Waterhouse still sustaining some pressure here with first assistance. Trying to find those passes.
Thomas. Look ball on Waterhouse very narrowly denied by the upright in their pursuit of a third goal to Murray Scott. A bit too eager there on the challenge, gives us a fall.
Yeah, Leacock dazzling feet. Got the shot out. It should have been saved much more comfortably by Jamari Gordon, but he did it just enough to take that one onto the left upright. That's the reason why the scores are still level in this contest. Cavallier preparing a couple of changes. I see Chad James. I see Lamar and Thomas as well.
James, of course, second top goal scorer this season. Tied the division lead. He knows what back in the days. They open it and find it. And for finish tonight. So, to make a difference tonight in this first leg of the quarterfinals remaining Jamaican League. And just confirmation of the changes James managed just a couple weeks ago. His name season to make an impact here. Turned on goals, many scores, some beautiful ones as well. Some mistakes, such as the game of football. Windows in these four walls. Anything can happen on that pitch. With not long to go, just about 15 minutes or so. Expecting plenty of matches in the pitch. Also on the bench to potentially make an impact. Bryant to get there ahead of Jamari Gordon for the first. Challenging as everyone rises by giving the ball to the arms, very front, with his goalkeeper, Jay Williams. Certainly be a fault there. A bit of skill there. The young field agent junior. Ainsworth and Hitzel, now Thomas. Be found by his teammate Mario Sims. That will be a free kick. Ainsworth participating. Fall there.
It does seem as if each team is trending towards going forward in this first leg. And it does look as if Romarian Thomas has a winner in his mind as he deviously places his ball down from 30 plus yards.
Surely he will go for from here. Yes, he will. But unable to direct his shot forward.
Got the power. Technique was okay, but the accuracy let him down in the end.
Another substitution here. Seems to be Juma Johnson who will come onto the pitch, and this is Mario Godinho will make way. get it, but still have possession of Cavallier. Confirmation change there coming on the screen. Ainsworth racing to try to keep this position, and it does. And the other way to Waterhouse.
Ainsworth hasn't quite imprinted his quality on this game as yet. Brian looking to do the same as done well there. And as found Carlo Bembo, who's also played it.
Just the white that I mentioned. Ainsworth. It's in the field from Sean Watson. Less than 12 to 12 this. Steaming nicely forward, exciting into this game. Where of course the winning at the time will be decided tonight. Still a whole leg to play on Wednesday. But it will still in the 90 for most importance for both managers to take the lead going into the second leg. And you can just see a shot of head coach of his team of Waterhouse. So detailed and meticulous preparation. And his team can get a win here now. This attack with Bembo.
First touch now for Junior Johnson. Well traveled in the Jamaica League against Junior Johnson. So to Carlo Bembo. But his pass unable to be controlled by Bernardo Thomas. It's a careless bit of play there for Waterhouse as Cavallier now have a throw-in.
Slip here, pretty moment from Paul, but Ames does as well. But the result to cross, and he's absolutely giving it to Paul here. Can't really slip there, but in the end, could have been a costly error. Coming in towards Charlie Scott, and that was definitely will be a foul. Just straight onto the face there. Captain Jamani Campbell.
We're calling for Jamon Lyle. Getting prepared for Waterhouse. What can the young supernova talent add to this fixture? He'll have around 10 minutes plus to make his imprint.
About 10 to 3. I don't think it's a bit too early or too much to say that of all the young talents that have graced this league or this country, there haven't been many as good as him at that age.
Yeah, I've always been of that opinion. I think historians around the league might have some strong words to that statement as Henry falls Javane Bryan. But I've always been of the strong opinion that for players around the age of 13, 14 years of age, the first time I saw Jamon Lyle play football around that age, he was the best I had seen at that age with my own two eyes. And since then, it's just been up and up for him. A part of that Jamaican team that qualified for the under-17 World Cup a couple of months ago. And now senior football in the Jamaica Premier League playoffs. He'll be looking to make a similar impact. Let's see what he can provide.
scored 3 goals so far in this Jamaican League season. Really chances as well. Those teams. Really forward. We'll be better to provide some providing whatever plays here tonight. The biggest of stages is now Cavallier trying to do just that, but linesman flag does go up here for an offside decision. Just don't play rather quickly. On to goal, of course. It's 7 minutes in it. It's possible at the time. Johnson. Could hold on to it. Pass towards Cavallier. Just off the mark a bit. Just put it on back for the Waterhouse. Trying to find the weakness of the back line. Surrender position. Cavallier. Trying to search forward and counter. Position over. Cavallier to 6. Wide to Johnson. To back to Brian. Wins a free kick here, dangerous chance for this area of Waterhouse.
Yeah, Julian has had his best night so far. Usually also reliable for Cavallier. Hasn't been at all tonight. This free kick could be a massive point of danger for this Cavallier team. Mario Sings the one standing over it.
Coming in here, Waterhouse shirt, a shot, quite some distance. Vicious effort tonight. Way across once more. Henry is it on to Scott, wins a fall here. Free kick quickly. Oh, and he got past his man there, Chad James, and yellow card. Shamari Dyer deserved, I have to say.
Yeah, most definitely. Got their second best, was late, and took out Chad James. Former Jamaica under 20 representative, Chad James. And he's certainly feeling the full force of that challenge. Confirmation of the yellow card for Shamari Dyer.
Just there we have a snapshot of what Chad James offers. So quick, he's absolutely rapid, and in an instant, he can go by you as you can see there on that turn. And they'll be trying to perhaps get some more tactical falls in, preventing from running away and causing havoc in those channels, Waterhouse. We'll be hoping, however, that he can do his damage in front of goal. Less than 4 minutes to go here. And they suspect that this free kick will not be taken short by Adrian Reed. He's complaining about the positioning of Lyle. Free kick now. Oh, he finds Kimari Scott. Has support, finds Ainsworth. Lovely turn to get away from his man. Cross coming in now, headed away by Waterhouse. Only as far as Adrian Reed. Wide once more to Ainsworth. Pass just a bit behind his man there. Now be cleared downfield for Cavallier to restart this play here. Trying to find Ainsworth, and he does with some aplomb. Finds Adrian Reed, takes on the shot, but hoisted over the goal.
Has the quality from that range, does Adrian Reed Jr. Certainly has the quality from that range. Length back as he was trying to strike that one. was always going to balloon over the top.
Sims. This is Johnson. Spins away from Thomas. Finds Ryan. Tries to flip their own corner for incoming Sims. Speed to it. And Cavallier defender that will play downfield to Chad James. Try to find Marion Thomas that will flick on in it, however. Definitely a foul there. Chad James winning another foul. They need to really deal with him in those tight spaces. As mentioned before, so rapid.
Around a minute to go in regular time. This is first leg quarter-final Jamaica Premier League playoff game. Offside flag was up on the far side. Can either of these two teams find a winner? Find that extra gear to get an advantage to play with in that second leg.
He was tall. Wide to Dyer finds Sims. Finds Bembo. Plays it to Johnson. Wide now to Amos. Kicking in field, trying to find Timon Lala, finding out it's Juma Johnson. Plays it into Brian. Lost it, but now there's a leak on it. To Bembo. Cuts inside, lovely fake, and that's a shot! Ooh! What a save by Jamari Gordon. Had to get it over the bar.
Yeah, really good save there. Had shaky moments during this game, but has provided two very big saves in the second half to keep that Waterhouse score ticker only at 2 for the time being at least, as a corner kick comes in. And Leacock regains possession for Waterhouse. Now Lyle.
Twinkle toes just dancing around the defenders. Assessing his options here now. Young Lyle. Tried to find Sims unable to, however, on that occasion. Now Cavallier can do what they do best and hit them in transition. Chad James running the defense. Trying to do it alone. Trying to pin it into the path of Marion Thomas, who wants a foul. But he won't get it. And that was a big opportunity for Cavallier they missed. You just wonder with the defenders closing in, could he have taken that shot a bit earlier? But nevertheless, great defending has to be expected by the team with the second best defensive record in the league.
Had to retreat there. The Waterhouse. Time ticking along here.
Cavallier on the attack once more, but that's cut out. Good defending. Juma Johnson overran his dribble there and loses possession.
Now, Waterhouse again trying to build. Cavallier towing in on the hard work of Cavallier really coming to the fore. Kimberly Scott announced as player of the match for this one. Goal and an assist to his name. Excellent performance. But Waterhouse still trying to alter proceedings. So to Cavallier. Chad James unable to find a teammate, but does win a foul.
I mentioned early in the game that, of course, when Cavallier were 2-0 down, whether or not the overhaul of their team and the influx of youth perhaps played a part as to why they just weren't able to be up for the first half in a game of which the magnitude many of these players have not been able to play in. But it's actually their youth that has stood tall tonight. Cavallier, as you mentioned before, announced as the man of the match, and deservedly so. As you mentioned before, goal and an assist, did his job in front of goal, but what about his industry, his work rate, how he's been off of it, has composed in front of goal, as he has been hungry off the ball, and a well-deserved man of the match for the young Scot. And that's the full-time whistle. And much like the first leg of the first quarter-final between Racing United and Portmore, ending a 3-all draw, Cavallier and Waterhouse will have to settle for 2 apiece here. And going into the second leg on Wednesday, when both games will be having their winners decided. It's all to play for in the quarterfinals of the Jamaican Premier League. We've been given an absolute treat of 2 games here. We've been treated to a beauty, and at the end of it, the winner could not be decided. But we do have a second leg to be played on Wednesday, and we'll be hoping that both games serve up a similar amount of excitement and drama that we were served up in the first leg. But now we'll be giving a short little commercial break. We'll have the highlights coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen.
El Sadar returns to the spotlight for a big night. Osasuna want to turn their stadium into a fortress, while Atletico arrive needing to maintain their strength near the top. Character, resilience, and plenty of tension in Pamplona.
Big atmosphere for a huge FA Cup glory on the horizon. Roberto Di Matteo! Drogba yet again at Wembley. Mourinho's versus glory for Manchester City.
Cavallier will be leading Chelsea to face Manchester City here at Wembley. Pep Guardiola,
The cream of the crop, a winning machine.
makes history again.
Nacho for the beautiful strike. Mamouche, brilliant goal. There's a into filter. Great cross, Haaland, lovely goal.
Chelsea will play in their 17th.
City reached the final 4 years in succession.
Blue is the colour